Hello everyone. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are doing pretty well today. It's a cold one out there, so if you had to step out or if you're going to step out, dress warmly. But I wanted to get on here today and show another technique that I actually thought about last week. But I'm going to switch it up a little bit. The idea that came to me last week, this is going to be a little bit different. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to use some water and some dye ink, and I'm going to make some watermarks like a little abstract background. I need to stop moving my hands so it doesn't blur in and out. So I'm going to take some ink that is by Stampin' Up called Soft Suede. And I'm going to use a paintbrush and a wet paintbrush, some water. And I'm going to put just a little dab, or 2 drops, into the bowl, as you can see right here. And I'm going to dab it here and start to make paint strokes. Just back and forth. Nothing like extraordinary. Just back and forth. And keep it going. Like I said, nothing extraordinary. And I want to wash that brown out a little bit. That's a little bit too dark for me in the center. So I'm going to try my best to even it out just a little. And keep it going. All the way down. Okay. That's good. So I hope you guys can see that. Just a little dye ink and some watercolor. So I hope you can see that image. So now that's going to dry. It shouldn't take but not even a minute to dry. So I'm going to let that sit there for a moment and remove the paintbrush. And let that dry, and it looks like it's doing its job. I'm actually going to pick it up and shake it a little bit so it can dry. But I hope you can see that. It's just dye ink and water. So basically I just painted that on. So I'm going to remove it from the scene for a bit and shake it so it can dry a little bit quicker. Okay, next up, I'm going to use the masking technique. I'm going to take some painter's tape, which is here. And I'm going to just form like a little, place it wherever I wanted to give it the line that I wanted to have. So I'm going to place one here. And I'm going to place another one here because I want thin lines. But of course, you can do the width of the line basically is up to you. And I'm going to do another piece of tape and leave space for another line here. And you know what? I think I'm going to do a couple more. Just a couple more. And one on the other side as well. So, like right here. Then I'm going to use Stampin' Up's chocolate chip dye ink and what we call a dauber. It's just a sponge with a handle. So I'm going to take and make a circular motion to pick up the dye like this. It's acting a little weird. Just a little bit to get that ink on there. Then I'm just going to take and rub. Make a circular motion all the way around. Just circle it out all the way to the edge. And it depends on how dark you want it, how many times that you want to go over, you know, go over that line and fill that space in, those spaces in. I want mine dark, not, you know, not really dark, but I do want it, you know, darker than the paint that I put on the back, the dye ink, the paint strokes that I made. So I do want it a little darker than that so you can see the contrast. So I filled in my one line thus far. Now I'm going for the second line. And I'm going all the way to the edge here. And there are no mistakes that you can make on this. It's whatever you want it to be, whatever you want it to look like. So however dark you want these lines to be, when you fill them in, that's how dark you get them. If you want them to be light, that's fine too. I'm going to put more on because I want my lines to be dark so you can see the pattern that I would like to make here. Okay, I think that's good. So now I got 2 more to do. Just a circular motion from one end of the opening to the other. And I'm trying not to move the table so much as where, you know, the camera shakes so you don't get dizzy and I don't get dizzy looking at it, you know, myself. Okay. And last but not least, here's the last one. There you go. Fill that in. And I think I'm going to do a little bit more on that one. A little darker. Okay. So let's see how that turned out. Let me close the ink a little bit. Wipe my hands. And let's see how this turned out. Now this tape wasn't giving me problems before. That's one. And I'll put it to the camera so you can see up close what the pattern looks like when I take all the tape off. That's 2. Well, I didn't even get all that off, but that's 3. This is going to work my nerves, so let me pull this up. Okay. Since I'm very visual, I get easily distracted. So, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can get this all done. Here you go. Thank you so much. I almost missed your message. I was so busy trying to get the tape off. And last but not least, take off this one. And there you go. So, this is what it looks like. Remember, this is dye ink. This background that you see here that looks like painted on is just dye ink and water that I use with the paint. I use to put it on with a paintbrush. And then this, I use the sponge technique and I masked it with painter's tape. So these things you can get from any craft store, and you can get the painter's tape from like Home Depot or any paint store. So after that, my next move, see if I can wipe that ink off. All right, let me hold that up for you again so you can see that pattern, those stripes, and you can see that background. So next up, I am going to, hi, how are you? That's a good thing. Spread that positivity. I know that's right. The world needs it. Okay, so next off, I'm going to use this stamp here. It's just a square. And I'm going to use it with some brown ink from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to stamp it in the middle, as close as I can get it in the middle. I'm just going to eyeball this. I never like measure anything. I eyeball everything. It's just easier for me. And remember, there are no mistakes. So If the eyeballing doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Art is never perfect. There you go. So you see that square in the center? All right. So I'm going to put that to the side. And now I'm going to cut this down. Because it's going on a square card, so I'm going to cut it to the dimensions of a square. So right now, this layer piece is 4. So I'm just going to make the other end 4 as well. Even it up a little bit. Okay, just even it up just a little. I want to make it, that square, as centered as possible. I don't want to take away from that. All right, so one more on this side and see what happens. And okay, well, we're going to do this again here. And there you are. Okay. So now I'm going to flip it. I believe the lighter side was the lighter side. No, the lighter side was down, so that's fine. All right, so now here you have it. It's a 4x4 square. And now I'm going to do some embossing, heat embossing. So I'm going to take these 2 stamps. One is a snowflake, and the other are just small, like miniature snowflakes. I hope you can see that. And I'm going to dip them in some metallic gold ink. But first, let me put my little mat down here. So I don't want to mess up this mat. So let's see here. Put that down. And first, I'm going to do the snowflake. So I coated it with some gold ink, and now I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to do my best to get it in the center. Like I said, I eyeball everything. I do not measure anything, so I do the best that I can do with centering things. I'm normally pretty good, not always. That looks pretty good. Okay, you really can't see it, and you really won't see it too much until I emboss it. So I'm going to now use a small flake stamp. The small snowflake stamp. And I'm just going to stamp like anywhere off the paper. Stamp again, maybe around here. You know, here. You won't be able to see it until I emboss it. You know, maybe some up here. And let's do a little bit more in the corner. There you go. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the embossing powder, which is this, and I'm going to heat emboss it. And what happens is when you use embossing powder and you put heat to it, it raises the image and it smooths it out. So it makes it pop up. I'm sorry, that was blurry. And it makes it pop out. So you really can't see it, but you'll be able to see it when I'm done embossing. So I'm going to sprinkle the embossing powder over all the places that I stamped. All the places that I stamped. Which is almost the whole card. I don't want to miss anything, so I'm going to get all the corners and all that good stuff. Okay, now I'm going to dump it off. I don't know if you could see that. You see the dark image, the dark images, the snowflakes, and that's the snowflake in the center. That's the embossing powder that's sitting on top of the ink. The ink they kind of mesh well together. The ink is pigment ink, so it stays wet longer. And the embossing powder is powder, so it holds on to it. So that's what it looks like when you emboss, when you layer something. It kind of gives it like an opaque look. So I'm going to pluck it from the bag to get the excess embossing powder off. So here you go. I'm going to pluck that to get the excess off. There you go. And I'm going to put it to the side for now. I want you to see that. Okay. So now I'm going to put it to the side, and I don't believe in wasting embossing powder. So you just put it in the folder here and you dump it in, whatever excess you have. Okay, and I'll put this to the side and put the lid on this. Okay, so now here's the image with the stamping on it and the embossing powder. So now I'm going to heat emboss it. It's going to make some noise for a bit, but you won't be able to hear me, but I want you to see what it does. And all you stampers out there know exactly what it does. This probably is for people who have never seen this done. So here we go. Here's the embossing gun. And let me, before I actually go ahead and emboss, this is what it looks like. It's called the heat tool. That's exactly what it looks like. They come in different colors. I've had this one for years, but this is the tool that you use to do embossing. And you can also use it to dry things as well. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss. Go ahead and heat this up, and you'll start to see it shine. I'm going to try to hold it up so you can see it. It takes a while, and I don't think you can see it. Hopefully you can. It's starting to shine, and you should be able to see it because I can see it through the camera. You see that? You can see that snowflake? It's now shining. So I'm going to do the rest of the snowflakes. Thank you for the hearts. And if you can see that, you see those the snowflakes, they're now shining. That's what embossing powder does. It kind of brings your work to life. So I have a few more snowflakes to emboss. And there you go. See that? I hope you can see it. The snowflake is now metallic gold. All the snowflakes on this card are metallic gold. So now I have one more thing I'm going to do. I'm going to choose a greeting to put on here. And, you know, I think I mentioned before, I'm a person who loves earth tones. So if you see me using brown and all kinds of terracotta and tan and I gravitate towards earth tone colors. I do my very best to break myself out of that, but for some reason, it just doesn't work. I always end up using metallic colors. I'm going to use a sentiment called, it's Season's Greetings. It says Season's Greetings. So I'm going to use that. Put it on my clear stamp holder, my little clear block. And I'm going to do a little trick that I've learned from, you know, one of my good crafting friends who gives me all the ins and outs on what's happening and all that stuff in the craft world. And I'm going to use chocolate brown ink, chocolate chip by Stampin' Up. And I'm just going to wet the stamp with the ink. Press down. Check it to see if there's enough color on there or not. Do a little bit more. And I'm going to press down here. Press down. There you go. It says Season's Greetings. I hope you can see that. Okay. Put that to the side. And now I'm going to finish the card off. Put the ink up. I'm going to layer it onto a card now. Well, first I'm going to layer it onto a gold piece that I made. So here's my gold layer, and I'm going to layer that right on top. Right here. Layer right. I hope you can see that. Layer it right on top. Okay. And I'll do that. Flip this over. Put some tape on the back here. Turn it over. Okay, and I always do one down the middle, or two. That way I know it'll stay on. Okay. Okay. And just attach it. Again, I eyeball everything. Doesn't mean it's going to stay on here, right? Press it down. There you go. See that? Okay. And now, and I think I might end up taking the edges off just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now I'll leave it as it is. Okay, so now here's my brown cardstock. And after I'm done this, I'll post this on my, I have a Facebook business page called Under a Single Suggestion. And I also have a Instagram page under a single suggestion. So you'll be able to find this card where you can see a very good picture of it on my Instagram page and my Facebook page, a single suggestion. Okay, and I think I'm going to do this. I want you to see me put it on here. Okay, I'm eyeballing it again. There you go. Okay, one of my little tools here, smooth it out. There you go, smooth it out. All right, and fold it and smooth it out again. And here you are. Here's the card. I hope you guys liked it. I not liked it. I hope you guys liked the card and the technique. Again, I'll be posting this on my Instagram page under a single suggestion and my Facebook page under a single suggestion. And the video will be placed on, it'll remain on Periscope, but it will be put on YouTube as well. I hope you guys have fun, watching this video, and I hope I was able to share some things that were beneficial to you. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me and I will definitely get back to you. Have a great rest of your Sunday. See you soon. Bye-bye.